Perfect song for our next guest. Been promoting this guy all morning long as a true American hero. We tend to throw out those superlatives, words like great and great and amazing and fantastic, and the president too, hero as well. But this guy and his whole family, going back to his great uncle Zachary, are deserving of all those accolades. Fisher House Foundation about to open up a couple of new places in the Bronx. I guess this thing started about almost 30 years ago. And Walter Reed, right there, Lackland Air Force Base for the Air Force and the Army, and now building more and more houses around the country for veterans and military folks that otherwise could not afford to live by these military spots. I believe that about $400 million has already been spent to help these folks who otherwise would have no place to live, helping veterans, helping our military. The great Ken Fisher. I don't know how you do something more worthy of all those accolades than what you do. So first of all, welcome to the Bernie and Sid Show, and thank you so much for being, as we've said all morning long, a great American hero.
Well, thanks for having me.
For sure.
You're welcome.
Listen, it's a fantastic honor to have you here. You and I met before once in San Antonio for the opening of the Fisher House at the Brooke Army Medical Center, which was an amazing facility, is an amazing facility, and all thanks to Mr. Imus raised a lot of money, in all fairness to him, for those Fisher Houses, along with you. And you continue to do this great work, Ken Fisher. But by the way, you were born and raised in the Bronx. At least you up until grammar school or something like that, right?
About fifth grade.
Fifth grade, yes.
Fifth grade, yeah.
The BX, you're giving back now to the Bronx. There is a Veterans Hospital in the Bronx on West Kingsbridge Road by University Avenue, and this is where the Fisher House will provide accommodations for veterans who are being treated there.
That's right. That's right. There's about 375,000 veterans that live within this service area. And these houses will be able to accommodate about 12,000 families a year.
Wow.
Right.
Within the framework of what's going on in the Bronx, which is absolutely magnificent. If most people have no idea that the VA is even there, it's the highest point in the Bronx. And you'll drive by it on the Deegan, and you'll pass by it, and you'll never give it another thought.
Yeah.
But the work that's being done there is absolutely world-class. And the innovations that are going on with exoskeleton research and development and so forth is amazing. And so much of the advances that society has had has come from the military or from the veterans.
No doubt.
So the work that's being done there is just amazing. But as usual, these doctors and nurses that work throughout the VA and the Department of Defense get little or no credit. They're just afterthoughts, but they do magnificent work, and we're just happy to support them.
How many Fisher houses are there around the country now, Kenny? Just curious.
Sid, there's 82.
82?
Tomorrow there'll be 84.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes. So you get two facilities up there in the Bronx. And I guess there are only two veterans hospitals, I believe, in the city, one on First Avenue and one up in the Bronx.
Fort Hamilton.
And
in
Fort
Brooklyn,
Hamilton.
right by Poly Prep.
Okay.
Right down the block.
That's right.
I went to school there. Sure. Saw it every single day.
Yeah,
so
it's beautiful,
that's a
by the
three.
way.
It is beautiful, that facility. Where are we with the VA? I know that's been an ongoing issue. President Trump trying to fix it. Prior presidents have tried to fix it. Where are we with that?
Well, there's the movement of privatization and so forth. I think the Veterans Choice Programs has been very well received, especially for veterans that live outside of the 40-mile radius from the hospitals. The VA is doing great work. They really are. Privatizing, that I got to leave up to the veterans groups and what they want to do. I can tell you, though, that from my experience, they want a VA that works. They want what they were promised, what they were earned. And as far as the VA is concerned, as I said, I think they're doing great work. And,
How they get to these guys, though? We kept reading stories years ago about guys that were begging for help. And they would die.
They had to wait.
They would die. Literally.
Yeah, it has improved.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of spotlight on it, so obviously it's improving, but they still have administrative challenges. There's no question about it. But I think in the long run, I think privatizing or having private sector medicine get involved is a good thing. The problem is it's very expensive to go private sector. And they're not used to treating the wounds that these men and women have received. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially the IEDs. I think this is the highest instance of amputees since the Civil War, the American Civil War.
Wow.
Yeah, and as you point out, it might be best to just centralize where they take care of these poor veterans and keep it at the veterans' hospitals. But what you do is provide, again, accommodations, because otherwise they'd have to travel from God knows where to go to the VA hospital. In these cases, what you and your family have been doing for a long time and are doing now in the Bronx starting tomorrow is they can just live right next to the hospital and just stay there, live a family, they'll bring their whole family in and be treated for maybe months on end.
What happens inside the houses is absolutely amazing. It's not just about lodging. Lodging is the core, no question about it. But the families kind of form these small communities within the houses, because this house, these two houses are 13,000 square feet. There's 16 suites.
Wow.
So they're big, but they're beautiful. This was built by the unions, so this was a New York City project. I wanted it to be that way. But the support system that forms inside these houses is something that you just have to see to believe.
Yeah.
They get together, they help each other, they support each other, they share the joy of the good days and the sorrow of the bad, because not every story has a happy ending. But the fact that these are in walking distance, the fact that they support each other, makes them better caregivers, and ultimately makes the patient a better patient, because they now don't have to worry about, A, the financial stress, the financial burdens, because life doesn't stop for these families, and B, because they're within walking distance of the hospitals, now the patient doesn't have to worry if it's 12 o'clock at night. How are they going to get back to the hotel?
Right.
Very
There's a big difference. Ken Fisher, Fisher House Foundation. So this thing starts with your great-uncle Zachary, and your great-aunt. Now, there was a lot of out-of-pocket expenses initially, right? I mean, they basically, your uncle and aunt just kind of paid for everything, right? I mean, before there was no help. They just paid.
The first 10 to 12 houses were basically funded by Zach's own money.
Right.
The first 4, as you pointed out, was at Brooke Army Medical Center, Walter Reed, Bethesda, and one out on the West Coast at Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Okay.
And, back then in 1990, it was after the first Gulf War. The need for the program wasn't very, very large. There wasn't a big need for it.
But since Afghanistan and Iraq, it's just been disastrous.
Since 9/11, the need,
sure.
we knew we would have to ramp up, because we knew it was going to happen. Everybody did. And, it was really about getting the foundation on a strong footing, making sure that we were utilizing or maximizing every dollar that was donated to us. 93 to 94 cents goes to our program. We don't mess around with the donated dollar, because this is people's hard-earned money, and they want it to go where they want it to go.
Right.
And with us, we're very transparent. We want people to be able to go online, take advantage of the charity watchdog groups, and see where their money goes, see what happens. So we're as transparent as you can be. I used to say we operated like a public company that didn't need a bailout back in that day.
Right.
But it's enabled us to get 15 consecutive A-plus ratings from the charity watchdog groups, 4 stars, 4 out of 4 stars. So we're proud of that. But we understand what we're doing, and we understand how critical it has become within the military framework. And the lodging component, such a basic and underappreciated need that now is in the forefront, because the hospital stays got longer. You know what happened.
Sure.
95% of these men and women in OEF and OIF, Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom, were now surviving wounds that would have been fatal. Back in Vietnam, we're 73% your survival rate. There was 95%. But now they were living, and that was the good news. But the hard part was the hospital stay and then the rehabilitation and so forth. So we had families go from one Fisher House to another.
Wow.
Go from DOD to VA.
Sure.
And they're beautiful, by the way. As I said, I've been down to the Fisher House in San Antonio at the Brooke Army Medical Center. As you pointed out, Ken, they're gorgeous facilities. There's no short shrifting on the quality of the facilities that these families live in. What you do is beautiful. And you also give out, the Fisher Foundation gives out scholarships as well to these veterans and some of their families as well. I mean, you guys, there's no better foundation than the Fisher Foundation.
Well,
and
I appreciate that.
Listen, so we mentioned earlier you grew up in the Bronx, and where in the Bronx, by the way?
Well, let's keep it here. Let's bring them back. Let's
That's a
bring
good
Kenny
idea.
back.
Good
1-800-848-WABC, 1-800-848-9222. We'll find out where you were in the Bronx and also how people can contact you about your foundation. True American Hero, folks. What an amazing job here. Ken Fisher with Bernie and Sid. We'll be right back. Ken Fisher is still with us. Fisher Houses, and they're about to open up 2 more. That'll be 84 in total. These in the Bronx, and Kenny's a Bronx guy, and before he even tells us what part of the Bronx he's from, so him and Bernie can kind of reminisce about the good old days of the Bronx. I knew you were from the Bronx because you were excited about Gleyber Torres. You were telling me during the break how amazing that Yankee comeback was last night. So 2 great things from the Bronx. Well, many great things, but Fisher Houses and the Yanks. You got
That
the Yankees
very close
got you all
together.
there. They're
And,
all, and they're
Jennifer
right next to
Lopez.
each other. Yes, well, J-Lo too, of course. But you're all pumped up about the Yankees, aren't you?
I am. I think what they've done with this stretch of injuries that they've had is absolutely magnificent. It's just a tribute to the death.
You know, you talk about the
depth
depth.
of the-
It is,
yeah.
and Brian Cashman. But a year ago, when the Yankees got off to a slow start, and this is why sports talk radio is stupid, and people who talk about sports are stupid. Aaron Boone couldn't manage. He was the worst. Like it was Boone's fault that Stanton struck out 5 times, twice in 1 week. Now, the 12 games over, everybody's crediting Brian Cashman with the depth. What about Aaron Boone? If you're going to kill the guy last year for the Yanks underachieving the first couple of weeks, what about the fact they're 12 over this year? Does he not get credit for that?
I think he should be getting credit. I think he's done an amazing job, and I think that the way the pitching staff has been handled has been amazing. The bullpen had some challenges at the beginning of the year, but they're coming around.
Yeah.
So the starting, I mean, Domingo Herman is
he pitches today.
the ace, the ace of the staff.
Why does Mickey Callaway get so much hell if it really isn't the manager, or if the team is doing poorly? Why blame the manager?
Because you can't release 25 players, and you're not going to fire the owner. He owns the team, and the GM is the last guy to go. So if you're underachieving, which the Mets are doing based upon expectations, the manager is the first guy to get fired.
Is that just?
Yeah, it is just.
Okay.
I mean, look, football, you can scheme your way to wins. And one example, when the Patriots beat the Rams many years ago, and the Rams had Kurt Warner and all those guys, that was Bill Belichick's scheme that won that Super Bowl. When the Giants beat the Buffalo Bills, Super Bowl 25, Bernie and Ken in 1990, Bill Parcells had a game plan, give the football to O.J. Anderson and keep Jim Kelly off the field. They scheme their ways to win. It's very difficult to do that in baseball or basketball. You win with the horses, and I'm sorry, Joe Torre, when he came to New York, the headline of the Post read, Clueless Joe. Now he's a Hall of Famer.
Interesting digression as Ken Fisher sits here from the Fisher Houses. And by the way, there is the new VA hospital up in the Bronx. That's not new, but the Fisher House is opening tomorrow. 2 of them that your family, famous for doing so all across the country, will do again tomorrow. Now, Ken, you get mixed up with another very famous, wealthy, successful Ken Fisher.
Very sore spot, Bernie.
And that's a tough situation in your family. Your kids break your chops about this?
They do. They do. My son has a very good time with it, I must say. But I think I'm better looking.
I think you are
better
too.
looking, yes.
And he takes credit for some of the philanthropic work you do, which
Does
is
he?
not right.
I don't. I hope he doesn't.
Does he? Does he?
So where in the Bronx?
I have to share my name with him, but
Right.
I grew up in the Riverdale section of the Bronx. Now, a lot of people don't view Riverdale.
I lived there.
as...
I used to live in the Century Building.
Oh, okay. I grew up at 4525, which
Right.
are buildings that we developed.
Yes.
And I went to PS 24. I played Little League ball at Van Cortlandt Park and Kapok Street and PS 141 before they put the AstroTurf down. And I played stickball.
Yep, so
Which
did
I
I.
loved.
There you go.
Stickball was
So-
great.
We're actually putting together a Curtis and Sid stickball tournament this summer to try to bring it back because you did it in the Bronx. That's all I did in Brooklyn.
Do you use the pinky ball and
the pink ball and basically a broomstick?
You got to
wrap black tape around.
With the black tape.
And
became an art doing that.
It became an art. That's right.
Now, we were talking before you came in, Ken Fisher. You and Jill, at least, were talking about the difference between a Brooklyn and a Bronx accent. You have Sid here with his Brooklyn accent, me with my Bronx accent. What's the difference?
I think that the Bronx accent is a bit thick, and Brooklyn's always been a little bit cleaner, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I like our accent better.
That's stupid.
No doubt.
No, that's
But
stupid. No,
Brooklyn is clean.
Yeah.
It's much cleaner than I think we are.
It's much
we
more.
get when we get excited. It really comes out.
Listen,
let me
start with you.
That's what I'm talking
when
about
you
here.
leave the state, when you leave the state and you talk like a New Yorker, nobody says you sound like you're from the Bronx. But Brooklyn, everybody's like, oh, you must be from Brooklyn. So you couldn't be more wrong. The more recognizable voice is the Brooklyn voice, and that's all across the country. There's no recognizable Bronx accent. It's all about Brooklyn. You can argue with that?
No, I'm not going to argue with it, but I'll tell you this, that my wife is from Yuba City, California.
Okay.
And I went there to meet her family 27 years ago, and nobody understood a word I said. Nobody understood a thing I said. I went in and asked for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
The guy looked at me and he said, "You're not from around here, are you?"
That's funny.
But there's no doubt that...
but he didn't say I was from the Bronx.
Right.
Your accent has changed, probably evolved. I know I've consciously changed my own accent. I couldn't stand to listen to myself because I sounded too much like I'm from the Bronx. I hated it.
I actually took speech.
Did you really?
I did. When I first joined the Fisher Brothers, my day job, my cousin Tony, who's not with us anymore, he said, you really have to start talking like you have a brain in your head. So
it's so unfair.
I know, it is unfair.
I tell Bernie all the time, when I started this business, there was a very famous program director out of Miami, and his name is Andrew Ashwood. He has since passed away, Kenny. A young man. He died of cancer. It was terrible. And he told my partner at the time in 1998, you better get rid of this guy, Sid. His Brooklyn accent, they're going to kill him in Clarksville, Tennessee. They're going to hate him in La Crosse, Wisconsin. This guy, God rest his soul, could not have been any more wrong. I got off the plane. I was a superstar. I refuse to get rid of my Brooklyn accent. You can be smart, and I am, and still have this accent, and people love it. They love it.
I think they do. I think it's, you look at the movies and how the accent has been played up over the years. And
yes.
It's almost a bit romantic. I heard that, and I don't remember where I heard it, but that the Boston accent was sexier.
I saw that. Boston,
and I don't buy it.
Boston was sexy, was up there in the top 3, and Long Island and New Jersey were on the bottom 48th and 49th. Excuse me, 49th and 50th.
Yeah.
So, but I don't buy it either.
I like the Boston.
I like it as well, but it's subjective.
Yeah.
It's look, Ken Fisher. He's the CEO and chairman of the Fisher House Foundation, and tomorrow they're opening. His foundation is opening up some Fisher House houses at the Bronx VA Hospital on Kingsbridge Road, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. They've been doing it forever, starting with his dad. They've for 30 years now. So, Ken, we wish you all the best with this. And is there going to be an official ribbon cutting or something like that?
Yes, which I hope you guys can come to tomorrow at 2
wow.
o'clock. But there'll be a ribbon cutting like we do always. My wife will be cutting the ribbon.
Wow.
And these houses, by the way, we couldn't build a typical Fisher house in the Bronx.
Right.
Because they're, red brick and ranch styles, sometimes, 2 levels in the main part of the house, and then the wings kind of go out. But my architect and I were walking the site, and I said, we can't build the house we built in St. Louis here. This is the Bronx.
Right, you don't have the space.
Right. No, but also the architecture.
No, they got the space. These are huge.
They're 13,000 apiece,
Yeah.
but you couldn't build the kind of elongated design that we use.
Right.
Because we have various designs. So I said, we can't build the St. Louis house here, Carl. I said, Carl Zarella, my architect, did an amazing job. And we found a Tudor walk-up across the street. And I said, can you duplicate that and not lose the Fisher House feeling of intimacy and make it so that the house is no relation to a Fisher House whatsoever? And what he did was absolutely masterful. Awesome. And when you see it, even if you don't come, you see a picture of it, you won't believe that this is a typical Fisher House.
Wow.
They look like they belong in the Bronx, and I'm very proud of that.
Way to go, Carl. Listen, Ken, you really are an American hero. It was a pleasure having you here today. Thank you on behalf of the veterans, the military, and everyday people like us. We love you. We respect you. Thank you so much, Ken. You were a great guest, too.
Thank you,
great
Kenny.
guest. Oh, Bob Seger. Good song. Meanie from downtown. 1-800-848-WABC, 1-800-848-9222. Ken Fisher was great. He was great.
What a family.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Give back. I mean, that's the American way. Should be, anyway.
Just saw the news that the GOP chairman here in the state of New York, Ed Cox, will be stepping down. And, we've had Eric Ulrich on a bunch of times, Queens councilman. He ran for public advocate. He may be the next mayor. Who knows?
Let Jill do a line here now. Go ahead, Jill.
Cox is stepping down.
Cox is withdrawing.
Oh, there you go.
So Ulrich has been pumping up this guy, Nick Langworthy, I think is his name. He wants to come on the show, but our buddy Kieran Lawler wants that position.
He does. Wants it in a big way. And he should get it. I think, he's our guy, right?
I don't know.
Who's the other guy?
Nick Langworthy, I think is his name, I think.
You don't know?
Eric Ulrich. I don't know Nick.
Oh,
he emailed me. He reached out to me. He wanted to come on the show, but we haven't put him on yet.
But he's Eric's guy, so...
Right.
So that's why you're...
that's how I know him.
You're on the fence.
That's why I'm on the fence. I do like Kieran a lot, but Kieran won't win. I know we got to start picking people that are going to win. We're pathetic.
What do you mean Kieran? He won't get...
He can't win. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. He wouldn't even be a top 3 choice. So, we keep sticking with these people that we like, and they lose. They don't just lose. They get, bludgeoned.
But wait a second.
And we look like idiots.
Eric Ulrich is the guy is one of those guys that made us look like idiots.
Very good. No, not really. When you consider the fact...
I said it myself. He came in a respectable second
place, and when you added up the votes for people like Michael Blake and that, who's that stupid wench?
Melissa Mark Viverito.
Yeah.
He beat them. So
believe me, I know.
He didn't get bludgeoned. Mark Malinaro got bludgeoned. That was ugly.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to start picking Democrats in New York.
Charlie Felly. No, but this is a race amongst Republicans, so it's easier. We still got to pick the right one. We took Michael Grimm over Dan Donovan. Grimm lost. We took Dan Donovan over Max Rose. Donovan lost. Now we're taking Matatukas over Max Rose.
No, we backed Peter King. He won.
Yeah, that's too easy. Come on.
Winning machine.
He didn't need our backing.
Lee Zeldin won.
That's right.
We didn't back him.
I did.
We didn't even vote for him.
I voted for him.
No, you didn't.
I went to Suffolk County and I voted for him.
We backed Amir Benno and Bernie voted for Kathleen Rice.
Did I?
Yeah. And Amir Benno is all over my Facebook page these days. We backed Marty Golden, the guy who lost in 100 years. He lost.
I did not vote for Kathleen Rice.
Yes, you did.
Just for the record.
You
keep the record straight.
Mm-hmm. We didn't vote for Amir Benno.
Of course I did.
Oh, good man.
Kidding
Joe,
me?
stop saying stuff.
Yeah, man.
Turn me up, will you?
Who else did we promote? Did we endorse on this show? That was
Bob Hugan.
Jesus, Bob Hugan. And then we brought this poor Flanagan lady on. She's got no chance.
Let me tell you something.
Trish Flanagan.
I don't have any regrets supporting Bob Hugan over Bob Menendez.
No, I don't either.
Not an iota.
It's just that the tri-state area is Democratic.
But we do need a winner.
That's in Jersey.
Isn't that tri-state?
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
We need a winner. So
we need a winner. So
Langworthy.
I got to check the polls on this.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it, to be quite honest with you.
It's a big position, though, Bernie. We need
the chairman of the Republican Party, New York State Republican Party.
Yes,
that's
what we're
big
talking deal. About. No,
we need some juice.
Juice?
There's a lot of juice.
Let me get this guy. This guy wants to come on the show. Hey, listen, if you want to bring Kieran Lawler on, this guy's name is Nick Langworthy.
I'll tell you what we could do.
Bring them both on.
Debate.
And have them debate.
He says, hello, Sid. Our mutual friend Eric Ulrich suggested that I reach out to you regarding my campaign for state chairman of the Republican Party. I've served as chairman of the Erie County Republican Committee for the past 9 years. I've won 8 of the last 10 countywide races in a community where Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. I'd be honored to be a guest on your show. Just give me a call, and we will help start rebuilding the GOP. This guy's a winner.
What?
What?
Erie County.
2-1 Democrats. This guy wins 80% of the time.
Winning what? The dog catcher? What did he do? I mean, Kieran Lawler is a New York State Assemblyman.
So what?
What is this guy?
He's in Wappingers Falls.
What is this guy? Erie County is up by Canada.
It's a nice place. Don't make fun of it.
What is this?
He's the chairman. That's a big word, like Frank Sinatra.
So
Shut up,
you have
Jill.
no idea.
No, he's the chairman of the Erie County Republican Committee.
What does Eric Ulrich have some pictures of you with?
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm reading from the guy. Quote: I've served as the chairman of the Erie County Republican Committee. That sounds big to me.
Oh my God, I'm
Has
so
he-
impressed.
has
Oh, wait a second. But Kieran Lawler, Wappinger Falls.
He
that's-
served in the military, Kieran.
Not only, but he's New York State Assemblyman. That is a big position. Also, he does have a face. He appears on Fox News
No,
a
I
lot.
like him. Don't get me wrong.
And he is a combat Iraq war
Okay,
veteran.
so you go with Lawler,
Well,
and I'll go with
well,
Langworthy.
I want to go. Let's go with the winner, but let's decide
All right.
who has a better chance.
How do we know?
You're just making a decision because of Eric Ulrich.
But this is what Eric does every day. He's knee deep in this stuff. You and I aren't.
So he says he believes that this guy has a better shot than Kieran.
Yes.
But that's his opinion.
Well, his opinion counts more than ours. We don't know anything.
Oh, I'm sticking with Kieran.
What, based on what?
Well, he's in the military. He's
He's out of the military.
He's the New York State Assembly.
Doesn't mean anything.
Everything we already said,
Right.
without repeating.
Doesn't mean he's going to win now.
So it's between those two.
No. There's other people who have even a better chance of winning.
Like who?
I don't know their names.
Well,
I'm being serious.
Wait a damn second here.
Shut up.
let's find out.
Jill, what do you know about all the candidates?
well,
What does she know?
what position are they going for? New York what?
The chairman of the GOP.
And what do they do, that person?
What do they do?
Are they in charge of the New York GOP?
All of that.
All of them.
And they go for dinner.
Yeah, what is that person even in
Don't worry,
charge
that
of?
doesn't matter.
Do you know? Do you even know Secretary of State Rex Tillerson? Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard of Rex Tillerson.
Yeah. Is he doing a good job? Just be honest.
Right now, is he doing a good job? Yes or no?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. You know, he's been gone for like 9 months. Got fired.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The sleeves are too tight. I can't actually get the sleeve off. You want me to
Hanging around.
Sing it.
It is a beautiful day. More and more and it's a beautiful morning. On the Bird, what a great show.
I walked in the studio and
Another
Sid's got
great-
his shirt off. What's going on?
I don't know.
It's a long story. What's going on? What's going on? You got to tell. Are you going to try in the new WPLJ T-shirt or what?
No.
Oh, yeah, they
That's
want to
not
know what size you guys are.